And that's where I want to bring in NRA TV host Colion Noir. Colion, good to see you.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we've got Pelosi. She wants to be speaker again, a movement against her. But conventional wisdom right now tells us she'll probably be the next speaker. Even if she's not, we're going to get somebody probably as left as Nancy Pelosi. However, we have a pretty strong Republican Senate. We have Donald Trump, who's been an advocate for the Second Amendment in the White House. What do you expect to see from the House of Representatives come January?
You know, I don't really know because well, that's kind of a lie. I expect them to be very blatant about their gun control agenda, and I expect them to really try to push it forward. However, it's odd to me that they continue to keep standing on this issue when at one point, at least from the position of Bill Clinton, he pretty much belabored the point that, you know, you guys should probably not run on the issue of firearms or the Second Amendment. Yeah. It's never really been a winner for them, but yet they keep grandstanding on it. It's just kind of confusing to me. But nonetheless, they continue to keep trudging on forward. And so I expect them to really try to push universal background checks, try to push assault weapons ban. And I think those are really the two things that they've really been pushing forward as of late. And now that they feel they've won a victory with the House, I really foresee them really going about pushing those two agendas. And you'll probably start seeing some other things on top of that as well, maybe some magazine restrictions and so forth and so on.
Yeah, I happen to agree with you. I think they're going to go for the magazine restrictions. I mean, you and I, gun guys, we both know that Clinton's assault weapons ban wasn't. It was merely a ban on certain cosmetic attachments to the AR platform. But that's a whole nother show we could do. All right, the press secretary for the gun control advocacy group, the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence, well, they told the Washington Examiner that more and more Americans want gun reform to stop mass shootings from happening. Now, NBC News is reporting that 60% of voters want stronger gun laws, and more than 40% of those polled were gun owners. Now, I don't believe this, because these same polls told us that Andrew Gillum was 12 points ahead of Ron DeSantis in the Florida governor's race, and that Hillary Clinton had a 92% chance of winning on Election Day 2016. So I take these polls with a grain of salt. But again, as somebody who's frequently on NRA News myself, on one of the other shows there, as a former New York City police officer who's a vehement supporter of the Second Amendment, I don't, Colion, know. And I say this, and I don't say this to speak to an echo chamber. I genuinely, and being intellectually honest, cannot think of one additional law that would do anything to curb illegal gun violence. Murder is already a capital offense in most of the United States. Why would they even pursue this if they know that these things are nothing more than window dressing, these proposals?
I actually disagree with you. I can think of one gun law that would curb at least some of the gun violence. Get rid of gun-free zones.
Oh, well, agreed. Agreed.
You know,
you got me there.
And, yep. And that's kind of the irony behind this conversation with respect to the Second Amendment is anytime we talk about gun laws, it's always from the perspective of banning. No one ever talks about maybe emboldening the right with laws.
That's right.
As a way to kind of thwart a lot of the shootings that we're seeing happening as of late. So I'm sorry to kind of cut you off there, but you were making a point about something.
No, I wanted you to go on. I couldn't agree with you more. All right, let's switch gears and talk about your latest episode that can be found at NRATV.com. It's titled Albany, New York, Graft City. Let's watch a quick clip.
Holding a firearm as a non-resident makes you a felon in New York.
Me picking up and touching one of these guns, I'm breaking a law here.
Correct. That's actually considered a felony in New York.
That's a felony?
It's a felony.
Just for me touching a gun?
Yep. Because holding a firearm as a non-resident makes you a felon in New York.
It's pretty disgusting, actually.
It is outrageous. It serves no purpose, none whatsoever. What happened here? When did we stop being the United States?
Colion, I'm so glad you did that piece. I try to explain to people how draconian the New York gun laws are. Before I got my ID in the police academy, it was illegal for me as a New York resident, being a police academy recruit in the New York City Police Department. I couldn't go into a gun store and hold a gun. It had to stay in the glass case. I mean, this is draconian, yet for some reason, local courts in New York, state courts, continue to uphold the state's right to do this. Federal courts have ruled the same. We've got about 45 seconds less. Is there any end in sight to that lunacy?
No, I don't think there is. I mean, I don't think there's any end in sight in terms of their attempt to keep pushing forward until their ultimate goal. The one thing I want to leave, one message I want to leave with your viewers is this: at the end of the day, the way they're going about trying to push these laws, their ultimate goal is to ban guns.
Right.
Plain and simple. Right. At this point, it's pretty evident, especially when you're talking about pushing universal background checks after every mass shooting, each of which would have done nothing to stop the mass shooting in the first place. So it tells me that there's another agenda and there's another goal at hand, which is to inevitably end up banning all guns altogether. So with respect to that, they're going to continue to keep pushing these issues. They're going to keep trying to push these laws forward, and then each time say, well, that one didn't work, so we need more, until they get to their ultimate goal, which is to ban guns.
Colion, real quick, tell us where people can find the episode. It's a must watch. So where can they find it so they can go out there and watch it?
You can find it at NRATV.com. You can also go onto my YouTube channel and find it there as well. And NRA TV's YouTube channel as well. All
righty, Colion Noir from NRATV.com. Colion, always great to see you. Thanks very much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more breaking news coverage, exclusive interviews, and great videos, click over here to our YouTube channel and subscribe. And don't forget to download the free Newsmax TV app. Newsmax TV. It's real news for real people.